Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate agent Kathy Batterton of RE/MAX Infinity, based out of Pace, Florida. Kathy started her real estate career when the market started its decline in 2006. Since then, she has earned certifications such as Graduate Realtor Institute and Military Residential Specialist, and has grown her business each and every year. Selling mostly residential in an area of Northwest Florida, she has made a niche that has worked well. She now has a team that supports her, and over the last 2 years, she was in the top 20 RE/MAX agents in the state of Florida. So with all that said, Kathy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
And Kathy, if we could start, what led you into real estate? Was it something you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
I just stumbled into it. My husband was he was retiring from the Navy. He was a Navy pilot, and he was retiring, and he said, we're going to have to move yet again. And I said, no, we're not. He said, get a job, and I did. So that's where it started. I had to go out and get a job so that I could leave my kids in the current schools they were at.
Could you talk a little bit about maybe some of the personal attributes, traits, or qualities that you think have most contributed to the success that you've had, and then talk a little bit about how you developed those?
I would say that the thing that has contributed the most to making me successful in this business is that I do have an entrepreneurial spirit. You pretty much have to be a business person and understand how to run a business in order to create a real estate business for yourself. And that work ethic, you got to work. And if you aren't up for working in the real estate business 24/7 for a while, then you might as well hang it up right away.
Yeah, I think something that you said there is important to point out is that, being an entrepreneur, I think some people, the barrier to entry, especially for real estate agents, tends to be pretty straightforward. You do a basic education, you pass a test, and then you're licensed, and you can go sell. And I think people don't necessarily look at it like you said, that you're running a company. It's a business, and you're responsible for your income. And I don't think every agent potentially treats it that way. I think almost some think, I got my license, now I'm going to be rich tomorrow. I'm just going to wake up and everything's going to just happen for me. So I definitely think that's a great point to point out to our listeners, that you should have that mindset going in of that you're actually running a business, and you should conduct yourself accordingly.
Yeah, I hear all the time people say, I would love to be a real estate agent and go out and show property. Well, that's maybe 1/40th of what I do, and I think that people don't understand that. So
yeah,
it helps to have a sales or a PR or a marketing background to help you get started as well.
And do you think you could give us an example of when your traits have a role in your path towards success?
I would say that because I was forced to get out there and be successful, due to my husband retiring, and I had to prove to him that we didn't have to move. Just getting out there and working. Just working nonstop to create the basis and to start this business. That was having the ability to do that. The self-motivation really made a difference. If you're not self-motivated, you might as well hang it up too.
Excellent. And could you talk a little bit about some of the major adversities and maybe trials that you had to overcome in order to achieve the goals that you have so far?
One of the things I would say is that I started when the market was just starting the downturn. Other agents had been in the business and were just becoming order takers. A lot of people joined the year before and 2 years before, and they were just the business was just falling in their lap. So I had to overcome that with the market on a downturn, and I think it actually worked out to my benefit because I had to learn the basics. I couldn't just be an order taker, and I think that really helped me. The other thing is in our area, we had 2 hurricanes back to back. And then we had the hurricane over in New Orleans that contributed. So in addition to the market downturning, we also had the hurricanes affecting our market at the same time. And the short sales and the foreclosures really were bad in our area, worse than most other areas. So I started working on short sales because I had a lot of military friends and clients who were stuck with their homes. And so I used that niche of short sales to help me get through and help other people to get through that downturn time.
Yeah, I think what you said there kind of speaks volumes for kind of how you built things. Like, you like you said, you started your business, your career at a bad time, at a down market, and you made that successful. So then when the market moved up, obviously then it was almost, a lot easier for you because you walked through the fire, you walked through all the trouble, and now you kind of get to experience some of the growth and I think that probably helps you in the long run because you fought through a bad market and then you can ride the good market, so you'll be able to always facilitate no matter what kind of situation you're dealt with.
Hey, believe me, I said that many times over the years. Okay, if I get through this, it's going to pay off someday. Yeah. So.
Now, obviously, you just talked about some of the, adversities, and you talked about, starting at a market that obviously wasn't ideal for most. What kept you going despite these obstacles? Why didn't you give up?
Well, I would say the first thing is that I realized that I had a passion for this, and I had no idea. I had to be 40 some odd years old before I found my passion in life, and once I knew that I had a passion for it, there was no giving up. I had to keep going because every time I would help somebody get through a short sale or help somebody get through a difficult time, I just felt so good about it, and I think that's where the passion came from. So that's what really kept me going. That's why I didn't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about, I guess, looking forward now? What's your vision for your career, say, over the next 5 years?
Well, I have a vision of growing my team a little bit more. I don't want to get too big, but I do want to, I can see myself growing my team by a couple of more agents so that my goal is to start taking some time off and to start taking time for myself and be more of the overseer and less of the doer day to day.
And I guess I kind of on top of that, as you build things out, what do you feel the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
I would say that most of my clients come from prior client referrals and from other agents referring people to me. But I would say in terms of actually marketing, that's worked really well for me has been getting testimonials and putting them in one place. And in my case, I use Zillow. And then directing people there so that they can see what other people have to say about me. And that's been very successful for me.
I think something to point out there that's important, what you said is I think testimonials are phenomenal and everybody should look to get it. And one thing I think that you said that's really important is that you chose Zillow to say, hey, all right, I'm gonna direct people. I'm gonna kind of give them a little guidance, say, hey, could you give a testimonial based upon how you think I, helped you out, and you coordinated it to go to that one spot. So that way, if somebody's looking and they want to know, hey, you want to learn about me, go look at all my testimonials versus having them spread out all over the place, which probably isn't a bad thing, but I think it's even better where you say I got 40, 50, 60 testimonials all stacked up in one place. Somebody can quickly scroll down and take a look at how you've helped all these other people, and they can easily say, okay, obviously this is the kind of person I want to work with.
And that has worked very well, and I don't know why more people don't do that. And I ask my client one time. I send one email to them saying, would you mind leaving a brief testimonial on Zillow, and I send them the link. And if they don't do it the first time, I don't even go back and ask a second time. And it's still been very successful.
Absolutely. And I think also there's sometimes, we kind of mentioned a little bit earlier about the barrier to entry for real estate agents. And I think also from a market standpoint that sometimes there are misconceptions of, what agents can do. You even said yourself, like, oh, yeah, somebody said to you, I'd love to just show houses all day long. And you mentioned that's like 1/40th of what you really bring to the table. So what do you think the biggest misconception or myth that people have about working with a real estate agent is?
Working with a real estate agent or working as a real estate agent?
Working with. So from a market standpoint, the misconception of what people think you do or don't do, I guess.
I think that the biggest misconception is people think that there isn't that much that we do and we make too much money. I really truly believe there are people out there, and there are agents out there who don't earn their money. There are many times I have to pick up the slack for the newbie agent on the other side, But I think that people say, "Oh, wow, she just got a $7,000 commission check. Did she really? How much did that really cost her to do that?" And if they only knew, every time I get a new assistant, and I've had several over the years, after about a month, they say, "I had no idea." That's the typical statement from people who end up working behind the scenes. I had no idea how much was involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, there's so many different moving parts behind the scenes that people don't even realize that exist. And versus like a homeowner that thinks, "Oh, I'll just, I'll put a sign up. I'll just sell my house," and they don't realize that the agent's there to protect them and help them and make sure that they're, they get the best deal and everything's done, and basically to take the stress load away and bring the best possible deal to the table so you can, help them out and resolve their situation.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we bring to the table, and it's one of the unfortunate things is we, as real estate agents, take the stress away from the client and put it on ourselves. So we try to mitigate all the problems behind the scenes that they don't always even see is going on.
Yeah. So let's say you get a call from a family member. They're in another state and they want to sell their home. So they give you a call and say, "Kathy, hey, we're selling our home here in New York. We're finally going to come down and live in Florida. We're going to come near you." What advice would you give them about selecting an agent that can best serve their needs? Kind of how you take care of your people. What would you tell them to look for and what to do?
The first thing I would do is say, "Let me find an agent for you." We can search for agents for our clients who are moving to other states and vice versa. And we actually can get referral fees on that. But we know what to look for. And a lot of my clients have found that very helpful. So that would be the first thing. And I know that's not the answer you were looking for, but that's what the first thing I would tell them is, let me do it for you. But I think that finding someone who has a good profile, they have testimonials, and they have enough sales under their belt to have the experience to get you through a transaction and to point you in the right direction, especially as a buyer. You want to make sure you've got somebody who is knowledgeable of the market. And the way to do that is to Google them and see what they've got going on online. I think is the best way.
Excellent. And Kathy, if somebody needs a real estate agent, especially in the area that you cover, the Northwest Florida area, what is the best way that they can find out more about you and how you can help them?
They can go to my website, which is KathyBatterton.com, or they can go to Zillow.com and look for Kathy Batterton. That's Kathy with a K. And they can check out my testimonials and see the type of properties that I specialize in. And I really think that those are two good areas for someone to really get a good feel for what I've done.
All right, excellent. And Kathy, we want to obviously thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share your real estate experience with all of our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Kathy, like she mentioned, you can visit her site at KathyBatterton.com. Also below this interview, we're going to have a link to her site and any other contact information we have for Kathy, so that if you are in need of real estate services, especially in the Northwest Florida area, you can get in contact with Kathy and see if she can help you out. So with all that, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.